Good evening, Carol. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. A little under the weather here past couple of days, but I'm getting through.
There we go. That's what we have to do.
Yeah, keep moving, right?
That's right.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and get started and tell our audience more about who you are and what you do.
I'm Carolyn Herbert. I own a business called Herbert's Wine Jelly, and it is exactly what it sounds like. We do make wine jellies. We make many other products too. But we started because of a little bit of my history. I um, retired from public education after 37 years. I retired as an assistant director of special ed in charge of compliance. And I was working with kids that were from lower income, and most of them lived in a high crime area. And we had the problem of, what happened to them later. They were incarcerated, they were killed, or they were on drugs, living homeless. So in um, this time, mental health has been a little bit of an issue for my family over the generations. And I wanted to do something to help the adults. I chose to help the adults that were coming out of prison because recidivism is such a huge issue and it's such a marginalized population as well. So I knew a couple of people that were inside, and I said, "What do you want? What do you want when you come home?" They need housing, they need food, they need clothes, and they need a job. Well, services out there will do everything but the job. So what are we going to do? Well, I said, well, I can only take care of one person at a time, but we're going to do something. So Herbert's Wine Jelly became a reality, and we started with the one main person that I knew. Um, I was making wine jelly for my mother at 92 because she wanted wine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that was the first product we produced. But the gentleman that was inside came up with all these different flavors. We now have 14 flavors of wine jelly.
That's
And what are we
impressive.
going to do with the wine jelly? So I made them, I sent in some cookbooks and they came up with recipes on how to use the products in unique ways every day, all the time.
Wow.
So um, this person was saying, well, there's so many like me in here. So one of them became Peanut Butter Pat. One of them became Middleman Mike. This one was Dippy Dave. So we could talk about each other. They were not necessarily all in the same penitentiary, but we could write to each other, and it would just kind of put some fun in there.
Right.
Well, what happened is it started to really send some hope through the prison that there were people out there that would hire. And we know that there are some people that hire and do that, but that's the very top, that's the very, very top level of these guys. And I'm not always interested in the very top level. I worked with the tough of the toughest kids. That was my that was my thing. So, I take some of the ones that are a little bit tougher. And we started this business. So obviously Peanut Butter Pat came up with peanut butter. Mike came up with the cocoa, but really wanted to be the manufacturer and kind of the person in the middle that put things together, hence his name. And so we had the jelly, the peanut butter. We ended up having spices with Dippy Dave, and we ended up with salt and bourbon pepper and beer salt and different things along that line. So the guys ended up having to do all of the work that went into making this a business. So when they came home, I had put the profits aside. We had cooked on the outside. We had one guy that had been released and was a chef, and he made the products and we sold them. We put all of the profits into an envelope for them. So they came home to an envelope where they could buy clothes, they could do some things. We assured that they had some housing of some kind, and they worked for me. Now, I don't pay great salaries, but it was something and it was steady.
Yeah.
So I with my teaching background and and mental health background, I ended up doing a lot of training with the intention of my guys being able to leave me after about a year or a year and a half and move into something big, much bigger and much better for them. So far, we've had Uh, we've had 18 people go through. We started in 2016, so 18 people doesn't sound like very many, but I'm one person, and
Yeah.
that's all we can kind of do. The whole family works together, but we're probably, that's just about what we can handle right now.
Yeah.
Um, and now, everything goes into there, and they get a salary because they can't plan on not having money when it doesn't sell or something like that. So I put them on a salary. It's relatively low, knowing that, some months you're not going to work at all, and other months you're going to work like crazy. Um, and then we have other incentives because we do shows and things like that, and that's extra money. But um, I pay them once a month because they need to learn that they pay their rent first. I can find food and clothes for you, but I can't find shelter very well. So, we kind of put this whole package together to help these guys get back on their feet, stay um, stay feeling better about themselves, and success breeds success.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that our slogan is on the back of my shirt, and so you won't see it, but it says "out of a jam and into jelly."
Very
So,
cool.
and we are so proud of the guys. We even had a
Yeah.
little party. We even had a little party a couple years ago when every single one of my guys from 2016 on ended up paying taxes. Now, no,
Wow.
who else celebrates paying taxes? I don't know. But when you have been, nobody wants to be on the side of being everything given to you. You want to earn something and give something back to the community. And that's what they did. That's what they've done.
Oh, that's great.
Uh, Most of them are not embarrassed about telling people about their past and the business, and some of them are embarrassed to go to shows now.
Right.
Some of them are. It's okay. It's
That's
okay.
great. That's great. Yeah. So you kind of lumped in by a couple of questions of, why did you decide to be a business owner and why did you choose your industry? You
Yeah,
kind of hit those a little bit all in one. So let's talk about, skip those, but let's talk about what were some of the challenges that you faced when you started working on putting this together, creating
funny.
it, and yeah, money, right? It's always about money, right?
Well, I'm a retired teacher, so I make so many millions that I don't know why I had any money issues, but you know, that was a big one. And then the next one is the whole social media thing. I am not very savvy in that, and I am not one to ask people for much. You know, I'll say, "Hey, if you like this jelly, buy it, and you can use
Yeah.
it for this and this and this." But I can't say, "Just please give me money." I can't do that. That's not me. So those were my biggest issues. So, um, I kind of dwindled all that I had down to something, and now um, we break even. We've broken even the last 2 years, right at even. I mean, I think one year I made $10 profit.
Wow.
Woo!
Yeah.
I was so excited. My husband was excited because I wasn't then spending our savings. Um,
Spending all the savings, right? Right.
anyway, I think that it's one of those things that you just um you're proud of, and it doesn't matter because this is what I want to do in my retirement is
Yeah.
do good things for others. And I just have, my father always had a saying that was, you can have a hangnail and I could be going through the worst thing in the world, but it's how you handle it that could make you worse off than me.
And that is true. Yeah.
And it's how the guys come home and handle it that
Mhm.
makes the difference in the community and in society.
Yeah. So,
I don't know if I answered the question. I got on that sidetrack and went
yeah,
crazy.
that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So my question is, so you have all the guys that created all these different flavors, and so let's talk a little bit about that process, right? Because it had to be
Okay.
painstaking to get it perfect and taste test and the jars and the labeling, right?
Yep. So what I did was, of course, the guys couldn't taste it while they were inside. That was not legal. So I couldn't send it into prison so they could taste it. But we did have a chef, and we made what we thought was really good. We sent out lots of samples and got recommendations from people. And then
Right.
we went and realized that alcohol doesn't cook out of jelly. Alcohol does not cook out. Actually, it intensifies the alcohol because the water cooks out, not the alcohol.
Wow.
So
All the
I,
like the listeners are listening to that.
yes,
That's an important key right
well, we
there.
laugh because we talk about the Italians that cook with so much. That's why the kids sleep so well at night. But,
Right.
I can say that because I'm Italian. So, um, but anyway, with that said, we went through, I have a son that's a molecular biologist, and he was down one weekend, and I said, here's your job, fix it, tell me how to do it.
Tell me how
So
to
the
do
first
it.
way we came up, because I had come up with freezing it because the alcohol goes to the top. And
Mhm.
ABC said, sure, you can do that. And then I'll have to arrest you for making moonshine. And I said, no, that's probably not what I want.
That's not a
Um,
good idea.
not a great idea. So
No.
my son came up with my youngest son came up with an idea on how to do it. And it's not that it's rocket science, but it's a multitude of processes. So if you know what process to do first and second and third, then you get it down to a point. And then I mix I use the tones and tenets of the um, wine to decide what fruit goes in it, fruit juice. So, so I'm enhancing that wine. So you taste the huge fruit on the front, and then you taste the wine as you swallow.
Nice.
So it's different. It's unique. We even have beer jelly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so are these good with bread, crackers, just out of
Oh
the
my gosh.
jar, a
And
straw?
think about, yeah. And think about how you would use it.
Yeah.
You can take the margarita jelly that we have and dip your shrimp in it.
Wow.
Take my grandson when he was little, he would use he didn't like green beans very much, but if I took just a half a tablespoon, just a little over a teaspoon, and put that in with the green beans, it took the bite out. It was orange
Wow.
pineapple chardonnay. He goes to a friend's house and he says, they're having beans, and he says, well, do you have any orange pineapple chardonnay?
No, sir, we do not.
No. What are you talking about?
You have to be your salesman now, right? You can go
Yes,
around and say, do you have
exactly.
any?
And he is, and he is. He has come up
That's
with a
great.
new flavor, and it's Colonial Cranberry Merlot. So
Hmm.
it takes your regular cranberry sauce
Hmm.
and or jelly, and it has a little citrus in it
Right.
from a little bit
Now,
of pineapple.
yeah,
So
now, do you have like a list of pairings of what would go well with what
what
foods and
what we
things like
do
that?
is we call them suggested uses.
Hmm.
For example, if I've got a bunch of kids sitting around the house at Christmas or something, and I don't know what to do with them, I'm gonna go buy some of those donut holes, put some of my jelly in different squirt bottles, and make their own jelly filled donuts. But I
Wow.
also took it to a business meeting one day, and I took the margarita one and the strawberry daiquiri one and our pina colada and things like that are
Yeah.
just fun. They're
Hmm.
just fun. So,
Wow.
you know, um, we
It
just
sounds
look
like
at
you could. It sounds like you could probably franchise this into like some kind of little setups where you could travel and have people, set up and do like a little line where you kind of just, what do you want? Here's what we
yeah,
have,
exactly.
you
Exactly.
know?
I
People
mean, we're the
pay 20,
best on the
30 bucks.
charcuterie board. I mean, you
Yeah, I
can,
was gonna say like another the charcuterie board. There you
yeah.
go.
Well, a lot of the vineyards that I do make the wine, I do their personal labels.
Uh-huh.
Um, for them, and they serve it on their charcuterie boards. So
Gotcha.
that's kind of what the vineyards do. We also do smaller bottles for weddings and wedding gifts and things like that. So if you're having a wedding at a vineyard, then you give away
Right.
the vineyard's jelly as
Right.
your wedding favor.
Yeah, that's
So
very cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So
it's
what's
kind
the
of fun.
expectations for you in the next year or two for your business?
Well, I really want to double the staff. I want to get
Ah,
into um, having it run and have at least 10 employees and have 10 going at a time. And I think we're getting to a point where we can afford more. We're able to ramp up more. Our inventory is huge right now. getting ready
Mhm.
for this season. And I think we'll be able to sell most of it. So I really think that, success is going to breed that success,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
that's the
Now,
thing.
do
We also have a
seasons?
cookbook in the works. So
Oh, great. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, we'll
that's
have to
very
talk
cool.
about that another time.
Yeah, that's the whole another, right? So,
Exactly.
do the seasons affect how
Absolutely.
you? Yeah, we talk about that a little bit. Let's tell us a little about that. How the seasons, how it
Yeah, well,
affects what you do.
I should have brought a couple things with me, but we have those little plastic light bulb things that you can put things in and glitter and things like that that the kids will make. I fill them with hot chocolate,
Nice.
and it's a perfect third cup, which is the same as what my packages for the hot chocolate are.
Mhm.
And so they're hang them on the tree, hang them on a package. I can barely keep those in stock. We sold over 2,000 of them last year.
Wow, congratulations.
I mean, it's crazy, but they're so cute.
Yeah,
They
that's
just have a
very
little
cool.
bag and, stick it in a stocking or something. It's so little and stuff, and it's yummy chocolate. And we have several flavors and such.
Hmm.
I think one of our very best products is our bourbon pepper.
That sounds
Um,
good.
yeah, you never taste the bourbon, but it's something more mellow than what you're
Gotcha.
expecting. So
Hmm.
it's fresh cracked pepper, but you put the bourbon with it and soak it just right, and voila, it just, it changes it. So
Yeah.
you've got
And what
that
is that?
fresh pepper without the huge bite.
Yeah. And what is that best on? What would you dip in it?
Most people say eggs in the morning.
Wow.
I
That's
know,
impressive.
I
Yeah.
know. So it's kind of fun to know that my jar is sitting right there on the kitchen table waiting for the eggs to come.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah,
impressive. Yeah,
yeah,
congratulations.
yeah. I know.
Yeah.
To me that's kind of fun because I want to be
Yeah.
more, every day, y- you know, enhance your meals. Just have
Right.
fun.
Right.
Doing
A
the
good
same
meal
old thing.
enhancement. I love
Yeah.
it. That's a great way to say
Yeah,
it.
just
Yep.
change it up. Throw a
Yeah.
different jelly around. Or if you
Right.
have jelly in
Exactly.
your refrigerator and you don't know what to do with it, look at our suggested uses on our website and soon to be in our cookbook.
Yeah, and what a great segue, right? So we talk about all this good jams and jellies, all this stuff, and dipping things. How do we contact you? How do we find this beautiful artwork of jelly that we want to try?
Your
Tell us how
easiest
we
bet,
contact you.
we are on Amazon and we are on but our website is really the best way to do it.
Okay.
Um, you're going to get the best deals as well as um, everything has a 3-year shelf life. So when you get something from us, don't feel like you have to, oh my gosh, I have to eat it within 3 months.
Yeah.
We have a 3-year shelf life guaranteed on them. But our website is herbertswinejelly.com.
Very simple.
If you need to contact me, I'm Carolyn at herbertswinejelly.com.
Very
If you
simple.
call me, it will go to voicemail because 99% of the time my hands are doing something other than being able to pick up a phone. If I'm cooking, I'm not
Yeah.
going to answer a phone, you
Don't
know.
blame you. Yeah.
So very often I'll go to voicemail, but I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible.
Right, right. Sounds good. Well, Carolyn, thanks a lot for coming on and telling us a little bit about your story there. So before we go, don't you have something else? Don't you have another business that we want to talk about and probably a next podcast coming up? Give us a little bit of
I
insight on
do.
that.
I couldn't do everything at once, and I wanted to expand what we were doing here, even for the guys that I had with us. And we have expanded to Herbert's Horizon of Hope, which does a prison art piece and supports the families in quite unusual ways, to help the whole family adjust to the guy coming home or whatever we need to do. So it is
Yeah.
an outreach program, but we also reach out to the prisoners and such. And 100% of the proceeds of anything that they do and we sell go to their families. So they're giving back to their families even while they're inside.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to talk more about that on another upcoming podcast. Maybe
That
we can
sounds
get you on
great.
the yeah, get you on a Friday at 4. I do a Friday at 4 series every Friday. You can come on and be a guest on there and tell us a little bit about more about that.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'll even bring some samples so I can show you.
There you go. You hold them up. Look at this and look at that and look at
Exactly, exactly.
that.
I'm really obnoxious with it. Some of the
But I
artwork's
tell you something.
amazing.
but that's how you sell it, right? Good for you.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Carol, it's been a pleasure having you on. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
you having me.
Yeah, no problem. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you.
You take care. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Q.A.C. Team podcast with your host, Charles Luttrell. Connect with us on the web at QACteam.com, TikTok at Q.A.C. Team, Facebook and Instagram at QAC.team. Thanks for your support.